and I reckon within the next decade, before the next decade, I mean quite soon, that's going to really take the world by storm. Take the world by storm. I've spoken about this before, but like the fact that, right, I mean, business as usual will be off the menu. It will be, whatever's going to happen we're going to be speaking about it. It's like history will dissolve in that very second. Like there'll be no reason of thinking of history. It will be so many things as well, but one of the things is that the world's attention will go to these events that are to happen. And what I'm saying is that what we will be dealing with is in anticipation for what these events mean. And our small little lives and, you know, insignificant past, which is not insignificant past and small, you know, I'm saying it will become, like, we won't be worried about really, I don't know, whether or not we're burning too many fossil fuels or climate change. In a way, like, those will still be there to a certain degree. That's just a bad example, whatever. But whatever's to come will be focal points. It'll be main points. There's no question about it. And it's going to jolt. It's going to jolt the psyche of that's also another thing, of the collective consciousness, right, of the crowd. It's going to, and if you're part of that crowd, then whatever that crowd is starting to perceive that as, or react to it as, or understand what the events are, you know, it will be a hive mind reaction, and everybody will go along with it, right? And they won't have their own individual sort of inspection of it, or opinion of it, or something or other, you know, a reflection. They won't have that. It'll just be whatever's, you know, the leaders are talking about or saying about this thing, or whatever it is, or what's happening. You know, people won't be thinking for themselves. They'll just be going along with, you know, with the carrot on the stick, basically. They'll just be anyway, that's something else.
Hi folks, so I uploaded a video titled As the Momentum Builds back in July the 12th 2019, and I privatized it. I'm not sure, I think it got close to about 300 views, and I'm not sure why I privatized it. My friend Ricky, Boy Under the Bridge, he was inquiring where did that video go. He could no longer find it. It was one of his favorites. He had it on a playlist and he would listen to it from time to time. And I said to him, I don't know, man. It's like, I don't even know which one he was talking about. Anyway, so with a few emails of his being quite incessant, I must say, which I'm very appreciative of asking me where is that talk, right? Upload it or share it or do something, you know, let me have a listen to it again. I decided to have a look, and I thought to myself, I probably deleted the video anyway, so, you know, it's gone, and that's that, man. Let's move on now. And sometimes I'm a little bit I don't know, not comfortable with my previous videos for different reasons, whatever it is. Anyway, so I managed to find the video, and I thought to upload it here, re-upload it again, because I'm simply, I don't know, blown away by what I was saying in this video and how it related to the current times that we are in. You will see that almost, I don't know, after about, and I'm changing the duration of the talk, but maybe around the 15-minute mark, I mentioned certain words that I was just I'm still, you know, I'm still trying to just get my head around this and whatever. But yeah, so I thought I would include it here and re-upload it, and for you folks to have a listen. And for Ricky as well, thank you, my man, for pushing me to have a listen. There's obviously a deep, profound reason and a very big lesson for me in all of this. But it's been very profound and necessary for me, for myself personally, to understand myself better and know more of who I am. So thank you, Ricky. I'm just indebted to you. Thank you so much. And here's the video. Thanks.
That which is happening is hard to make sense of, and there is no time to do it because it's all just moving so quickly. So again, this almost urgency of the time that we live in, or the time for myself in the days that pass by, because I have a sneaking sensation that life will never be the same again. You know, these shifts that are happening, I mean, that life, however to define that, as being very vague, will be completely unrecognizable. The course of life, or whatever it might be, the momentum of it, the experience of it, the rules of the game in a way, it's all changing. It's all becoming something else. And it's not defined what that something else is, but it's, again, this momentous shift that's taking place into the unknown. And so the anxiety that it produces is, once again, the shift that how the setup is now will be completely and utterly different. And that's a strange thing for a human being to experience. I mean, on such a multi-layered, multi-dimensional level. I mean, it's not like just in previous generations where maybe there was a massive famine that was taking hold of your living situation, and it was turning everything inside out in a way, to a certain degree. I mean, it was changing your narrative in a big way. But this is much more than that, folks. This is you know, something on a worldwide level. This is on a psychological level, much deeper and much grander than I think has ever been before in the time of history that is known to man. So it's like, you know, what do you do in the meantime? Because you're not setting up shop. You know, you don't have a 5-year plan. You barely have a 5-day plan. You're just going with what shows up and trying to face each day with what it brings to you. And you don't even know who you're going to be, you know, from one day to the next. Your perceptions are changing, your ideas, your philosophies are changing, are evolving, your fears, everything. Your likes, your dislikes, your impatience, your intolerance, it's all changing. Your preferences, your priorities, your prejudices, everything is just changing about you and about me. And so it's hard to rest in that, I must say. It's hard also for myself to find a sense of stability. You know, like, and I know that's quite loaded. Like, what do I mean by that? Because within myself, I feel somewhat stable. I don't feel like I'm going to fly off the handle. I don't feel like I'm going to lose my cool, or like I have an anger problem, or I have an anxiety issue, or I have a depression issue, or something like that, or my emotions are out of control, or my thoughts are out of control, and you know, I might fall into a type of insanity or something like that. It's not like that. It's not. I think I'm pretty much consistent in who I am, so to speak, but the experience of who I am, so to speak, feels very different from day to day, from hour to hour, constantly. And so, no, it's hard to put into words. But it's like, you know, we're really, really being pushed to transform. We really are being pushed to grow. And just grow, whatever that means, without a destination, so to speak. It's just become, that's it. It's just develop. It's just evolve. You know, pedal to the metal. That's it. Don't ask questions. Ask questions, you're not going to get many answers for it. Don't try and press pause. don't try or stop it or reverse it or whatever it is. It's just go with it. That's all the option that you have. And so for myself, like, I feel this change in such a big way, and on some personal levels I know that there's healing that needs to take place for me, and I know that I'm being triggered by certain events that are requiring, or showing me where I need to heal, right, where it's sort of pressing on certain wounds or bruises or something or other that are coming up and saying, okay, this needs to be healed, this needs to let go of, right? And in an urgent manner. It's like, I'd feel like I don't have a period of 15 or 10 or 5 years to sort of overcome certain wounds, if you want to call it, or certain perspectives or certain fears. It's like you do it now, right? You do it within the hour type of thing. And you got to be prepared, which is huge, folks. It's like really massive. And so for myself, it's a lot of work going on. It's a lot of work going on. And the thing is that, again, this is not, you do it alone. You do it on your own without no one's talking about it on their headlines. It's not headline news. Majority of the people in your life are not talking about it. They haven't got a clue about it, even to talk about it. And so you're doing it on your own, and that's what seems so strange about it, because everybody else's priorities around you seem so different to your own. Everybody else's thinking or experience seems so different to your own. Okay, so it almost sometimes feels like you're making a lot of this up. Like for myself, I feel like I'm making a lot of this up, right? About this inevitable shift that's going on, where everything is going to change and everything is changing. It's like, and again, the heavy demands on me to heal the wounds, to heal the fears, to loosen the identity holds somewhat, to learn more of appreciation, more of allowance, more of a surrendering, okay, etc. Coming more into a faithful place, a trusting place, trusting heart, So, again, for myself personally, but on a general level, no one's talking about it, and I can't reflect to other people a lot in my life about it. So again, sometimes for myself, I feel like I'm making it up. And so thank goodness for the internet. Thank goodness for others out there who are talking about this. Okay? Because that says that it's not just me, and I'm just not inventing this and making this up or trying to maybe fantasize about something in order to escape this harsh reality that we live in at times. This reality where it just seems, as an individual who wishes to be free and wild, in a sense, is very much a part of a system that is completely on lockdown. If that makes sense, completely on lockdown. And just rules everywhere, and buildings and scripts and inauthenticities and stages and props and Maya, and whatever it is. It just seems that for myself, the more free I wish to be, the more I see the constraints that I put upon myself, the limitations rather, in a way, responsible for my health in an unhealthy society. So that creates an anxiety, that creates a desperation to connect with nature, when for myself it's very hard to find nature, and I still try my best to get into nature, but it's still very hard. It is for all of us. Again, we're so limited, we don't realize it, to spend time with like-minded individuals doing heartfelt and meaningful things is not easy to do. It's not the order of the day. And so again, for myself, the more I need to expand, in a sense, the more I feel like I've outgrown this world, the matrix world, the more I feel I'm still a part of it, and I'm still having to abide by its setup and circumstances and how it is. And so that's bizarre, that's not easy, but that's what it is. And again, for myself, allowing that to be, like for myself right now, I'd much be one desiring to spend this evening with like-minded individuals around a fireplace, chatting, connecting, gazing into each other's eyes, just something like that. And then in the morning we all share a hearty breakfast that is in alignment with our spirits and with nature, in a sense. I mean, wouldn't that be wonderful and beautiful, without a constant stress of finances, of having to put on a mask, having to sit in traffic, having to pay your taxes, having to be politically correct or something like that. Like, wouldn't it be nice? And so for myself, I look and I say, my world is so far from that, and I need to contend with what is. And so for myself at the moment, one part of my healing and surrendering and allowing is that even though my situation can be so desperate, that I still need to embrace it. This is a tough one for me, because there's a part of me that is bittered by it and frustrated by it, and I feel so limited and suffocated by it sometimes. And I realize in a way that, well, that's not the right attitude to have, perhaps. And so I need to deal with that. And it's not just that, but it's the same thing in the story of my life and my past and etc. To be able to hold it all together with my past, what I'm saying, the desperation of my past, the story and narrative of my past, to hold it all together with honor and integrity and in love. It's very hard to do this, to heal from the discomforts of the past, the desperations and the challenges of the past, and even the challenges of today, like I'm saying, to walk with integrity, to walk with a pure heart. This is not easy to do, and it's against all the odds. And so it's like, but this is like I feel for myself, these are the last. This is the last play. This is the last bit. We almost at the finish end here. I don't know what that means, but it just feels like big change is on the horizon, and I have no idea what that means. But that even your script and your narrative today of how you go about your daily chores and activities and responsibilities, and the people in your life, or the lack of people in your life, or whatever it is, it's all going to change. Your focus will change, your priorities will change, your perspectives will change. What you thought you knew would change. It's all about change, folks. It's all about change. And so, yeah, for myself, it's about finding a sense of balance through all of this, finding more of a heart space through all of this, an allowance for a lot of this stuff, a surrendering, and just a going with the flow, so important, just going with the flow. Not this idea, maybe to a degree of let it be, but it's almost like sometimes it's like if somebody's hurt you, that's sometimes how I interpret let it be. It's like if they've hurt you or something traumatic has happened to you, so we'll just let it be. Which is almost sounds sometimes like you're giving up on it, like just give up, just let it be, whatever it is. Just for myself, it doesn't have to be that way, but what I'm saying is more so go with the flow of things. Go with the flow. Don't just let it be, because let it be is just let whatever it is be on its own. But going with the flow is actually being involved in it. Going with it. Going with the momentum of it, because there's a momentum that's pushing you to somewhere where you need to be going, in the direction where you need to be going. So it's like if you just let the momentum be, you know what I'm saying? It's like it'll go on without you. I'm saying going with the flow, I think is one of the most important priorities and practices rather that one should be doing in today's time, is going with the flow and making changes where necessary. But if you're in touch with the flow correctly, with the Tao, then it'll take you where you need to go and show you what you need to see, and unravel you in the way that it's supposed to unravel you, and help you unfold and expand and change in the way that you need to be. So just being part of the flow, I would say. And breathe. breathe, through it all, because that's the thing, is that like if you are on this raft and you in this river and it's taking you and the current and force is so strong, and really what you can do is you manage to able to paddle yourself more so in the flow of the river. That's your options to a certain degree. Either you can fight against it and it can topple you over, or you can sort of maneuver yourself with the changes of it, with the rapids that come with the river, right? And if you can navigate through it with the river successfully, right, then it will take you. And if there is this massive drop, this waterfall that's coming up, I don't know if that's the correct word, but then you got to be able to hold your breath and let it take you where it needs to take you. Okay, and have an impression that you won't just, it's not just like 100-meter drop or something like that. 100, 150 foot drop or something more than that. It's something that is that you'll have a soft landing, with your raft intact, and all is well, and all will be well. So that's also again a different kind of attitude to have, rather than seeing that you'll take this cliff or this waterfall and meet the end of your story on the other side. You'll find your raft in bits and pieces, and yourself as well. Not that you'll even find yourself, but you won't even make it. The downfall, you won't even make it, really. That's not the right impression to have. That's not the right attitude to have. So we've got to be preparing ourselves that what is to come, the shift is to come, that where we will land up on the other side will be, as McKenna says, like a feathered bed, a soft landing, a smooth landing, if you will. Alright folks, with that, I wish you well. May you journey well, and may you go with the flow. Chat soon. Take care.
Evolving in a way, which is more in towards beauty and truth and integrity and goodness. It's more so that, and it's speeding up. That's what I think. I'm just thinking that because of the energies of our time, this is on increase, right? It's like maybe generations before, decades before, centuries ago, it wasn't so pedal to the metal type of thing, right? It wasn't so extreme. It wasn't so intense, okay? Because one of the things that's also making it intense is that either you are evolving or you're going backwards, or you're not evolving. Like I'm saying, there's a massive force now which I think is stronger than ever. I'm just hypothesizing this, you know, but like there's a stronger force now that wants to suck you into the collective, right, and hardwire you down to ego, hardwire you into fear, hardwire you into distortion, disassociation, right, into inauthenticity, that which is not beautiful, that which is not good, right? It pulling you in, and I think the pull now is stronger than it's ever been. Why wouldn't it be? I mean, with media and marketing and propaganda and television and with music, etc. See how much time I've been talking for here. Can't even see, the sun is so bright. Let me see, sorry about this, folks. I think it's 11 minutes. Wouldn't have a clue, it could be 17. I mean, that's how time is going. It was like, and now it's already July. Anyway, so losing my point here, but what was I saying? Yeah, so there's a world that's trying to pull you in. It's like a vortex, you know. It's trying to pull in the individual and own the individual, you know, for the individual to become part of a crowd, you know. So that's definitely going on in some way. So because I think that on the Truman Show world, I think on the 3D world, on the collective world, that there is going to be also some, you know, what do you call it? Curveballs or you know, cards up the sleeves or something like that. That's also going to happen, and I reckon within the next decade, before the next decade, and quite soon, that's going to really take the world by storm. Take the world by storm. I've spoken about this before, but like the fact that, right, I mean, business as usual will be off the menu. It will be whatever's going to happen we're going to be speaking about it. It's like history will dissolve in that very second. Like there'll be no reason of thinking of history. It will be so many things as well. But one of the things is that the world's attention will go to these events that are to happen. And what I'm saying is that what we will be dealing with is in anticipation for what these events mean, and our small little lives and, you know, insignificant past, which is not insignificant past and small, you know, I'm saying it will become, like, we won't be worried about really, I don't know, whether or not we're burning too many fossil fuels or climate change, in a way, like those will still be there to a certain degree. That's just a bad example, whatever. But whatever's to come will be focal points. It'll be main points. There's no question about it. And it's going to jolt. It's going to jolt the psyche of that's also another thing, of the collective consciousness, right, of the crowd. It's going to, and if you're part of that crowd, then whatever that crowd is starting to perceive that as, or react to it as, or understand what the events are, you know, it will be a hive mind reaction, and everybody will go along with it, right? And they won't have their own individual sort of inspection of it, or opinion of it, or something or other, you know, a reflection. They won't have that. It'll just be whatever's, you know, the leaders are talking about or saying about this thing, or whatever it is, or what's happening. You know, people won't be thinking for themselves. They'll just be going along with, you know, the carrot on the stick, basically. They'll just be anyway, that's something else. But yeah, so folks, there's a lot going on, and so, and I could say a lot more, I suppose, but I suppose what's important is that it's just to carry on in good spirit, always in good spirit, and in truth and in beauty and in love, and in simplicity as much as one can, and in kindness to oneself as well, gentleness, and know that we live in extreme times with extreme risk, really, and extreme opportunity at the same time. It goes hand in hand, there's no question about it. But to take your time when needed, folks, because it's absolutely necessary, you know. So sometimes when you do have that speed, you hit that speed bump, see it as an opportunity to just catch your breath, if you will. Yeah, because sometimes, you know, before you even have the chance to catch your breath, it's on to the next thing. Alright folks, we'll chat soon. Take care.